Hello YouTube and welcome to episodes 6 and 7 in my Owarimonogatari reaction series. Back here today to apparently wrap up an arc, I've been told. Sodachi Lost would be the name of that one from memory, I think. I'm pretty sure I'm right. Last week's episode was fan-fucking-tastic. It was very, very good, and I should be able to record both of these today. Should. Really should. And then potentially the video gets delayed if I edit or don't edit tonight, but I'll let you guys know anyway. I don't even know I'm talking about it in the video itself. Let's bring up those YouTube comments. First comment here today, Simon. Like all of them, except this one has Hanakawa, so that checks out. I'm pretty sure this is in reference to my thumbnail, which says one of the smartest episodes thus far, or something to that effect. Yeah, all the episodes are really smart, and potentially I have somewhat of a Hanakawa bias. Potentially I'm a Hanakawa simp, as the kids say. But yeah, I'm sticking by it. That episode's really good. Either way, next comment here by Kramer. I think Hanakawa is smarter than you. And a little zip on the mouth there. Potentially alluding to, I guess, a layer that I'm not seeing at the moment, which is exciting. That's good. If somebody could fill me in once this second layer to this conversation comes in, if it's not bleedingly obvious, that would be great. That would be great. Potentially I'm not seeing something. Also, Medatashi, which is the praise to the author part from the start of the last episode, I believe. Essentially, all is well that ends well, and they all lived happily ever after. Okay? After the only thing that matters is Orgy. Orgy is Orgy, potentially. I don't know. I forget last week. And Sodachi Lost OP is underrated. Glad you liked it. The bass goes hard. And Marina Inoue singing, which I imagine is Sodachi's VA, I think. Most certainly is. Next comment here by Tenta. My favorite arc of my favorite show. I've rewatched it over 30 times at least, and one episode of it upwards of 50 times over the years. Oh, I just realized I'm not doing these comments in chronological order like I normally do, so that's just a bit of a weird quirk for this episode. But yeah, 30 times and potentially 50 times is kind of nuts, but I appreciate the commitment, I guess. My favorite stuff. Have I watched? I think I've watched K-On! like 6 or 7 times, and it's my favorite show, so I don't know. Those are rookie numbers, apparently. Next comment here by Kochin, actually, the next two. Kind of alluding to the kind of Discord explosion about the Monty Hall problem. 1,600 messages or something to that effect. And it's not even that worth talking about, says Kramer. The next comment here. If you think about it, this is an episode where nothing happened. The plot didn't go forward at all, but it was incredibly entertaining. The episode flew by. Not really much. We kind of start the episode in the same plot movement area as we end it, but we learn a lot about certain characters' treatment of other characters and what they're actually about, and characters coming to terms with that. And I think that that's the entertaining part, along with it just being really good visually. Shows that you don't need concrete plot movement to make something engaging and entertaining all the time. Next comment here by Hasarin. New sub here. Caught up to your reactions just in time for the last stretch of Monogatari. I should probably hit one of these buttons or something, right? Welcome aboard. That works. Look at that. It even got in the video. How cool. Next comment here by MC Steve. I believe MC Steve has been away or something he was mentioning on Discord, or not able to catch up with the videos, so now he's back, and he's back with a vengeance, because it's a pretty long comment. So let's dive right in. I've always liked the ED for these past 3 arcs. It can be uniquely interpreted by the episode. The sense that can be made out of it is so varied. I agree that you should give Sodachi Lost's opening another look. I'll continue to look at it as we get more information about the arc, understanding what those words are being directed to, maybe specifically the lyrics. Maybe give that opening a reread once I'm a little bit further in. Goes into this kind of idea of the grateful crane as well, which is part of Orgy's, I guess. So Oshinomeme has his own view on things. Orgy has a different view, which is the Grateful Crane. So it's a Japanese mythological story, but it's a bit of a rabbit hole to explain the whole story, so we're going to get the cliff notes here a little bit. Once upon a time, in the midst of winter, a man discovers a wounded crane from somebody's hunt. The poor lone man graciously helps and sets free the bird instead for food. The coming night returns a beautiful woman at his doorstep. The man provides for the woman with little he has. The weather keeps her in, and the man accepts her as wife or daughter depending on the variation, and they become very happy. The man, failing to make ends meet with food, fears an end to this happiness. Instead, the woman ensures with a founded plan to weave and sell cloth. The woman makes beautiful and high valued cloth, but with the cat she mustn't be seen while making it. They make wealth to last more than the winter and new founded happiness. Without careful spending, they become short once again. The woman makes more beautiful cloth. By the third time, the man's curiosity for the woman he barely knew overcame him, and he peeks. The woman is not a woman, but a crane, the one he saved. The crane thinned of her own plucked feathers. The now seen crane saddens and leaves never to be seen again. The man stays alone. The end. It is a weird story, right? To reiterate, this is Augi's stance about saving. So let's think about this before I read any further, right? Kinda, okay, you did me one kindness. I'm going to repay this kindness in many further favors. That's what she says. But if you look behind the veil, if you see me while I'm doing it, then I'm going to disappear forever. I'm not going to do this anymore. There's kind of a allure of mystery around that I am something that I don't seem, that I don't want to be seen as this other thing, that I, want to keep some kind of boundary there in that relationship. It's a very interesting story, actually, now that I've given it a proper read. And yeah, that's kind of what I interpreted Orky's line again about the multiple favors in that episode is about. Now back to Steve's comment here. This is her second time mentioning her uncle's philosophy. First, if you recall, at the start of Formula, saying it doesn't apply to us. About the niece thing, the expected thing is suspicion, so don't worry. Smiley face. So, suspicion about her being the niece, right? So yeah, okay, I'm glad that I'm not out on a limb there being suspicious about the whole niece thing. A little refresher, the arc the first time she introduced herself as niece is to Nadeko in Itori. By the end of that arc, that idea is pushed by Shinobu. In Koi, that idea is pushed again by Kaiki when brought up by Hanakawa. I remembered there was apprehension your first time encountering these scenes, so I thought it to reflect on the old and new status quo. So if the first time she's introducing herself as the niece, I guess not chronologically, but in the show, is Inatori. That's interesting, right? But now we've already seen that chronologically she's done it before that. She's done it to Araragi. It's the first time we meet Augie, is the first time we get this information. So it's clearly a plan it's not just a weird like Chinese whispers thing that's spread around. It's clearly something that she's come in with an intent to say and do. Yeah, so that same question, by the end of everything, by the end of Koi specifically, who the hell is Oshino Augie? I don't know. I really don't. And yeah, people like teasing at the moment. They're very like, ooh, something's happening. Ooh, something's happening. So I'm imagining that at least maybe in these two episodes, maybe a little bit further on, I'll get more context around a lot of things that are going on and reinterpret a bunch of stuff. Burmy Anime, next comment here. Something that goes unnoticed a lot is that when Augie says that Senjugahara's house is farther away, Hanakawa reacts in a weird way because Augie shouldn't know where neither Senjo or Sodachi lives. Just another point in which Hanakawa grows more wary of Augie. I mean, I just interpreted this as Araragi like spilling the beans and kind of like an off-screen thing, because what's the line again? I don't know anything, you know everything, Araragi. So I'm just imagining that anything that Araragi knows, Augie has somehow gotten it out of him, even if we don't see it explicitly on screen. Next comment, creator, one of my favorite arcs in Monogatari. I'm getting that vibe from a lot of people. Can't wait for the next video. Well, it's here. Dama Amancia. Sodachi Lost is my favorite arc. I'm excited to watching it with you again, or be watching it with you again. Yeah, I'm excited to watch here today as well. 2 more episodes in the can. Ice CP, back here again. No matter what Augie does, it always feels in character. She fits in pretty much every character archetype all at the same time. She could start acting like a little sister character and then suddenly switch to being a Senjugahara type tsundere. Thus, the only way to describe her is saying Oshino Augie is Oshino Augie, because we can't describe her as any one thing. All she is herself. So yeah, that's our understanding at that point, at least. And then final comment here today, Jump Bueno. Kind of doing reverse order because he normally gets in quite early. Augie x Hanakawa banter must be one of my favorite things in the show. It's just top tier. Yeah, the dialogue's really good in this show. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. Yeah, the opening's really good. I have to disagree with this. I think that... Let me think. I liked the first opening. The second one's just like with all the symmetry. I don't really get it. I think it's probably lower tier for me for sure. But I like this new one quite a bit, so I'm happy to get to watch it again here today. And yeah, reiterating one of my kind of thoughts earlier, this is one of the episodes that goes past the fastest, in my opinion. Just, yeah, really well paced dialogue, and I think it maintains visual interest as well, which is, again, what Monogatari's been doing quite a bit from basically the very start. Yeah, I want to talk about like Augi's hands too. Why is she wearing gloves? And then why the sleeves? Why is she hiding that? Right? You could go metaphorically and say she's hiding it like she's hiding other aspects of her personality potentially, whatever that may be. But yeah, just an interesting one and definitely unsettling. I don't really like it. The conveyor belt scene, which is again is like the thing across the ground. I just think yeah, characters catching up to each other and like that way is very nice. I forgot to mention it, I think, like my camera was like behind my monitor when I woke up this morning. I don't understand how that happens, so the angle may be a little bit weird. I was just kind of looking into my own eyes and figuring that. And yeah, I vaguely remember this as well, the number 4 in Asian cultures being associated with bad stuff, right? Notably death. So, I don't know, you just got 3 of them. I don't know why I held up 4 fingers, but you know what I mean? Like, clearly it doesn't bode well. And yeah, so hyped for next week's reaction. It's here, baby. Just getting us back up to speed again. I don't think I need to go through all the like Hanakawa is suspicious of Augie is generally what we get from the episode, along with a few interesting little tidbits here and there. Specifically, we're on our way to see Oikura after school to check if she's okay, to check up on things, to ask about the past, to reveal the riddle, or we kind of figured out the riddle, scratch that. But yeah, we made our way to the apartment. Hanakawa kind of scouted ahead. It doesn't seem good, but we're going to enter the apartment anyway. We're sitting right on that precipice as we go into this episode here. So yeah, this should be revelatory, you would think, about some stuff. Maybe in fits and spurts. Maybe she's just going to be a bit of a bitch for a while. We'll see. She doesn't seem particularly happy to see him, which is understandable, considering all that we know and all that Araragi has forgot up till this point. So yeah, I'm excited to jump in. Just going to do my shill stuff first. If you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation. Comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you'd like me to follow you back. And the Discord, join Discord, love Discord, Discord. One thing I forgot to mention earlier, maybe I'll put this at the start of the video in editing, but maybe I'll forget. I'm very close to 500 subscribers, and I'm very happy about that. It's a big milestone for me personally. Bit of commitment to the channel and trying to make all that work, which is good. You know, keeping that content going, I guess. But yeah, I was wondering if I should do something for it, maybe like a one-off or I don't know, Q&A. I don't know how any of that shit would work, but yeah, ideas in the Discord. Maybe I'm open to that kind of stuff. I'm open to doing something a little bit special on my weekend off that's coming up. So yeah, I don't know, maybe a movie or something. I don't know, we'll see. Either way, on with the episode. Rightio, got episode 6 of Owarimonogatari up here, ready to go. Let me pop that up there. 24 minutes and 12 seconds on this one, so sync up accordingly. As always, there will be the picture-in-picture version available in the description below. And yeah, just going to give it a 3, 2, 1. Rightio? 3, 2, 1, go. So that she lost. Yes, as we've established. I think there was an established relationship before that point. Oh, a little flashback first. Me neither. No, that would involve me talking with them. Are we going to see that? Okay, we're not going to see that. Yeah, as I've theorized. Okay. Ooh, she looks fucked up. Rara. Well, yeah, of course, in that point in the story. Look at her hair. You just kind of got reminded. Okay. Why is he so forgetful? Huh. Okay. Right. Okay. That doesn't bode well at all. Why is she not wearing shoes, huh? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's awful. That's terrible. That's really bad. Okay. Seems good. That must be terrible. That's really bad. It kind of explains a lot of the angst, right? Well, continuing. There's probably even more. Um, yeah, I think we're starting to unravel why Sadachi feels the way she does about stuff. Specifically, think about what the opening, who the opening's lyrics are talking about. The ripping of the hair out, too. And that's the same dress that she was wearing when she visited the Araragi house. Interesting. Like the same color of dress. What'd she say? Vote in the comments below. No, you guys probably know. You guys can't do that. I won't allow it. Alright. Let's enter this room. We've been anticipating this conversation for like ages. For yonks. Yes. Part 2. Ooh. Ooh. Why is she so blushed? Oh, she hates it. She's gonna like throw up. That's an interesting editing thing too. No, she doesn't. Look at her house. No, you don't look well. Yeah, I did. I do kind of see it on the face a little bit. Ah, excuse me. What just happened? What just happened? Oh, he pricked his own finger, which has the healing qualities. Oh, she doesn't look in a mirror that often, huh? Okay, I get it. It most certainly is Hanakawa-san. Ugh, no, not at all. She can't say it. Okay, if you slow it down, you can. He really can't keep his eyes away from the pajamas, huh? Triangle. How the hell did you do that? Hanakawa's insane. Oh, so you became like a ninja. Cat-like reflexes, think about it. Yes. You've well established that. Yeah. It only took Augie to kind of help. No, not at all. To seduce you? Okay. And the bite of the lip, too. Seduced with math. But you're so nice. It is embarrassing, yes. I want to disappear. Alright. She's having a good day. Yeah. Stop whispering in my ear. Huh. I don't want the pity. Okay. How do I win, though? Ah, she got rid of everything. Okay, that's great. Yeah, pretty justifiably so. Yeah, we get it. We know. It's too little too late. I ruined everything. So where's mum? Okay, bad dad. My mum only hit me sometimes. I kind of hate her apartment too. And oh, oh, that's awful. Crane? Okay, thanks. I prayed that I would never wish. Okay. I have a lot to say about this editing here too. Disappeared. So she ran. Against my wishes. Okay. Yeah, kinda. I mean, she was taking, you know, she was taking after you, right? Not even an empty letter. Not even an empty envelope. Okay. And I've been living in the 4 house ever since. Why would she want to live in that house? Yeah. Also metaphor reasons. It is nice and clean, almost inhumanly so. Hmm, they don't. It kind of is. I wonder what Hanakawa thinks about this, right? I don't think any of this kind of philosophy is healthy at all. And that's why she's so adamant about no pity. Trauma sticks around, though. Ah, Owarimonogatari. It's already the end of the story. What? Leave my house. Okay, I mean, who am I to. Yeah. Okay. I didn't see that as much of a mystery, but sure. I don't know. Then it wouldn't have opened. Huh. We're really doing this, huh? Yeah. Why do we need to think about this hard? I think it'll help for a change in understanding. Look at little boy Araragi. No. No, it's not. Yeah. It's so alien. Not at all. What? Yeah. You wish you never knew the other side, huh? Ah! That's terrifying! Get it off my screen? I can't even, like, focus on the dialogue. Stop. Okay, that's better. The mouth, bro. Okay. I'll need to reread that part. That scared the shit out of me. Drain. Drain gang. Yeah, you did. Sow the seeds of calamity. It's not your fault either, though. I know. If you had been born to different parents. Yeah, I'm getting that. Okay, it's a bit of a coping mechanism. How do we fix this? Can we fix this? Oh, okay, that's a great line as well. Well, I don't know. It's very mean, but sure. No, I don't know everything. We've been through this. That's very condescending. Just try to be happy. Happiness is too heavy for me is a great line, too. Yeah, there's always room for change. Yeah, okay. Potentially talking from experience. Thanks. What about it? You're not doing well. Okay. What have you say, Hanakawa? Okay. Thanks. Not sure she's feeling it. Oh. Okay. And now we need to figure out that mystery a little bit more. She doesn't need it. She's a big girl. She could sort it out. That was tragic. Yeah. A million great lines in an episode. Um, Again, one of our classic Monogatari, we're just going to have a conversation episodes. I want to talk about her room as well, her house, I guess, and how fucked up it is. We love that aerial shot too, showing the triangle of the table. Yeah, it was good. It was really good. And we start to like see why she hates Araragi so much. It's more of a excuse me. It's more of a coping mechanism around like, okay, I can't keep hating my parents. I've got too much hate. I also hate myself like a lot. Okay, where am I going to direct all this hateful energy then? Well, Araragi will do for not helping me. And the worst part is that she's aware of it all. So there's a particular line, it's like, I have psychological problems and I know it. That is one of the most toxic cycles you can get into, right? Where I know some shit's fucked up. I know I'm not normal. I've been reminded I'm not normal, but I can't fix it. I'm aware I'm not normal. Yeah, going to have a little bit of a second look on that episode. Probably going to write my recap towards the end of the second episode, I think, where I don't think there's much necessary in writing a recap for that one. So, yeah, we'll dive right into the analysis. One thing that I think I'm not appreciating enough upon kind of just thinking about the episode again is how good the voice performance is to carry such an episode, right? Simultaneously, like, overwrought, but like wary that she is overwrought and overly dramatic and all these other things, right? Sometimes really quiet, sometimes really full of hatred, sometimes over the top, sometimes, it keeps levels to it. It doesn't just become somebody reading pages off a book. There's some genuine performance to it that I think shouldn't go unappreciated. In general, this episode was sad. It was a sad episode. This is a sad circumstance. I feel kind of bad for trying to say that Augie was lying last time. There's a million little details in this episode that are just fucked up. And we're going to talk about it here now. I'm just going to dive in, I guess. So we start the episode with trying to figure out, hey, how does Oikura know that my parents are cops? That's one of the biggest question marks on what we have going on, kind of established in the end of episode 4 from Hanakawa, from memory. So how did she know that? She had some kind of run-in with the Araragi family before that point. I do like this kind of subtly, right? So Hanakawa taking the role of almost an Augie here, right? Still in that same classroom setting, still posing these questions about his past, but framed in a way nicer way. Again, that's, another Hanakawa Augie connection we have going on, which is interesting. Hanakawa always with the very obvious answers as well. If you don't remember, why don't you just ask your parents and see if they remember? And lo and behold, they do, because, when I was like 6, they were like 20 or 30 something, right? They would probably remember it better than I do. Probably fully aware of the serious connotations to what was going on as well. So interestingly enough, we don't see him talk to the parents on screen. Instead, it's framed through a conversation with Nadeko that Araragi has already talked about during this arc, so wasn't particularly surprising. So we've seen kind of this before, kind of playing with Sengoku and the sisters, but during a certain playdate, Sodachi was there as well, Oikura. Um, question: it says we were childhood friends. I don't. From what I got of it, they weren't childhood friends. It was kind of like, hey, you stay here for a little bit while we try to figure out why your situation's so fucked. That being Araragi's parents saying that. Um, Never really that they were friends, but because of that, Oyakura also clued into the fact that Araragi's parents were cops, and then that leads into what we have going on with the middle school stuff. So yeah, we reframed this scene later in the episode as well, what she's actually thinking during this moment, which is very tragic, very, very, very tragic. I'll talk about it here. The detail of her dress looking a little bit worse for wear, the detail of her not wearing any shoes. Yeah, just clearly not a lot of love there. Not a lot of love at all. And of course, the kids are too young to see that, right? It's good to see Nadeko again. We don't really see her in her non-fucked up state for a while. So, yeah, she was a bit plain. She was a bit boring, but but yeah, it's nice to see her again, I guess. And of course, taking the opportunity to, you know, what would even this be? I guess mention to Araragi that she remembers him. Oh, I remember you, or I like you, that kind of shit. Again, continuously, Araragi just does not have memory of this at all. He just didn't deem it important. The parents didn't explain, just kind of said, hey, play around with these kids for a while. Another question: how much older is Araragi than the sisters? Because the sisters almost look the same age here, which is kind of fucked up. I guess Araragi's allowed to change clothes, but they have to stay in the same stuff. I don't know, weird one. Again, like separation. So one side, the other side. Like it's pretty obvious stuff now that I pointed out. But like she's this is visually her cluing into the difference between what she had and what others have, and seeing that she isn't normal, and that leading her down that spiral. Okay, maybe it was like multiple occasions. So like, hey, just keep playing with the kids. She always goes and sits in the corner, while Nadeko and the rest and Araragi all play. And then at one point in time, Oyakura had decided she wanted to go home to her family. Again, maybe this is metaphorical. After a number of visits, she decided that she didn't want to be here anymore. We learn later in the episode because she's internalizing how fucked up her own family is and doesn't want to be here anymore because it makes her feel even sadder about her own life. Again, probably an oversimplification on my part there. And yeah, just emphasizing the lack of care that the family had for any aspect of this, which comes with the territory of an abusive family, I would imagine. I wonder, okay, I'm going to leave this opening relook to the next episode, right? Yeah, we'll go through it again, both visually and lyrics wise. All right, and now we're in current day, well, whatever current day means in Monogatari, and we're in Sodachi's house. So we're continuing on from where we were, and this takes up the rest of the episode, a good 18 minutes, so buckle in. Yeah, this technique I wanted to talk about, right? Kind of like, okay, yeah, here. Like kind of Oyakura's condo entrance, and then talking about the different areas of the house. We only really do it twice, but it was a notable thing. So we get our kind of leery full body shots, which makes sense considering it's Araragi POV episode time, and she's in just her pajamas. So like I get it, is my point, right? This is a thing that constantly comes back in the scene as well, her not really being able to say the name Araragi without some kind of tick or reaction to it. That's how disgusted she is with him. I'll talk about it in the moment, but you can also see a little bit of swelling on her face from where a certain Senjukahara may have hit her. So Hanakawa had a weird episode this episode. I think a lot of what she said can be interpreted as very condescending, even from this first line, right? You look well, Oyakura-san. I clearly don't. Look at my house. I clearly... The TV's on the floor. She's like living like I do. I don't live this way, by the way. But yeah, just... I don't even know how to describe this house, but just like on every side, the color's all wrong. It's squeaky clean and messy in different ways. The windows on a weird slant. It's an architectural nightmare representing a real nightmare of a life. One thing I did want to say about Hanakawa as well is that she should have some kind of view into what Oyakura is going through. potentially not as severe as Oikura and from as younger of an age. I'm forgetting a bit of Hanakawa backstory stuff, but didn't her real parents pass away for some reason? And then she's moved in with people that are tangentially related, and then it gets a little bit abusive. I think that's what happened from memory. But either way, like abusive households. Hanakawa's we go into a lot. It's a active neglect and just neglect, not really a feeling of hatred, not really a feeling of I'm going to wake up and beat my children today. A little bit more of a oh, you exist, which is probably better, you would say, but still not great. Still not great for Hanakawa, but again, we've been through a lot of this stuff. I just thought that she could clue into this a little bit better and provide some insight rather than a little bit more of a condescending tone, which I got from a lot of her stuff. I guess she's just trying to be nice at this point in the story. Continuing to call Senjogahara like the sickly girl as well, she clearly has included into that she's better now because she hasn't been at school. She packs quite a punch for somebody that's weightless. We do bring back this weight idea later on, kind of the weight of happiness. That I'll talk about a little bit more in the moment. All right, let's break this down. This is great. Okay, cool. So she starts talking about the swelling and the this and the that, right? Hanakawa looks down at glass, right? Is clearly trying to take things off the table so Oyakura can't peg them at people. Araragi simultaneously is putting his hand behind his back. He's got a little bobby pin there, which he stabs into his own finger. So you're going to grab the tea, right? And at that exact same point, you're going to poke her in the face, right? So, okay. Here's what I think's going on, right? We need to keep the tea away from Oyakura so she doesn't throw it upon being poked, but I'm also like trying to heal her at the same time and going to take one for the team. But it's so very quick that it's kind of amazing that I was able to interpret what was even going on. For those that are unaware, I'm not sure how many people that would encompass, but he has healing powers from the vampire stuff at this point in the story. Anyway, he probably still does at the latest point in the story. It's just if he uses such powers again that he'll get into a little bit of trouble, I think. Sad implication from this line. Did the swelling really go down in 2 days? Demonstrating the fact that she doesn't really look herself in the face all that often. She doesn't really look in a mirror every day, which is fucked up. There's particular emphasis on whenever Oyakura says Hanakawa as well. Asking, hey, you coming here as friend or as your role as class president? Both of you, right? Because Araragi's technically vice president. But yeah, turning the attention to Araragi and going through each syllable one by one, being able to say it. Yeah, so now we get to Araragi, trying to explain that, hey, I've gone through a bit of a journey of discovery and have discovered a lot of stuff about our past. Stuff that I probably should remember. I'll talk about it here as well. We really love this shot, right? So pipes either side, which I'm not really sure what they're about rather than kind of vignetting the frame. Triangle table, 3 sides to a conversation. Oikura being the base of said triangle as well. The triangle trying to meet at some point in the middle, trying to find some kind of compromise, right? Again, it's interesting that we're using the sides of a triangle and not the points as well. I don't know. Probably somebody can speak to this a little bit better than me too. Somebody that actually does a little bit more of this filmmaking stuff. So yeah, Araragi mentions grade school. She immediately goes for the tea, goes to throw it. Araragi runs out of the way. Hanakawa catches said tea and puts it down on the floor like that. Oyakura's face is also my face. How the fuck did you do that? But yeah, she was prepared apparently. And then I've kind of theorized cat-like reflexes as a theory for that as well. I think it works. And yeah, kind of unable to stop Senjogahara throwing that punch, so hey, I'm going to save Araragi from some tea. Sure. Alright, and now we kind of see what Oyakura is doing by the end of the episode, right? So initially I was a little bit flippant, a little bit, I guess, like, come on, we get it, right? When you must be here to make fun of me, blah, 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 blah. Like, this intense, almost self-hatred, this focus on that if somebody is here, they must be doing something to hurt me. It's less of an actual worldview and more of a coping mechanism, right? I have so much hate for everything that's happened in my life. I have to direct it somewhere, right? If I don't direct it towards my parents, I've already done that enough. If I don't direct it towards some other target, it'll direct it towards myself. And that only ends in terrible things happening, right? So let me continue to use you as a little bit of a coping mechanism for my hatred. There's a lot of stuff in this episode as well about like parents not being able to choose their children. Like she also inherently blames herself for a lot of the abuse, which of course is just so very wrong. But try to tell somebody that's traumatized by it that not a psychologist, I can't even pretend to be. But I wouldn't imagine it would go well. We say it a couple times too. I tried to seduce you. And then the little lip bite here into helping me. Yeah. So I'm thinking at this point, well, in middle school, right? It's like, okay, I need to get Araragi on side and be stupidly nice to him to get him to potentially realize what's going on and get out of his own head and realize that this home's fucked up. Again, you're from good home. You should realize when you walk into fucked up home that shit's fucked up. Why didn't you? And we go into that a little bit, kind of in a reverse storytelling order in Sorachi Riddle. Like, he just didn't even fathom that this could be a home. But yeah, she attempted to seduce him with math, because he was a math boy, he was a little bit of a nerd, he was a little freak. Let's try to get him on side like that. Hey, this girl that likes math is also in an abusive home, maybe I should tell my parents. Gotcha. And now feels a deep sense of shame for trying to do so, says Oikura. So yeah, obviously overdramatic, I want to die, blah, 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 blah. But then we get to the base of it a little bit more, and we get that voice acting change to go along with it. Kind of saying that, like, I'm not the problem here, right? There's millions of people all around the world in worse situations than I am. There's also hundreds of people that are also in similar situations to I am, right? So I'm not a unique person. I'm not special in my kind of terrible life, right? And really emphasizing that we don't want pity. We don't want pity from Araragi. We don't want anything of the sort. Any kind of sympathy, that would just be too much to bear. It would mean that I would have to stop hating him as well, or at least a little bit. And again, I've got all this hatred, I've got all this energy. Where am I going to direct it? Yeah, I might want to die for real if you commiserate me. Just remove all subtext. I may end it all if you do something like that. Because again, that hatred, where does it go? This stance from Araragi too doesn't really go well, right? It's still like, I'm here for you. I'm not trying to commiserate you. I'm not doing anything else. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it, right? That's not. If you've ever been in a human relationship at any point, this isn't how it works, right? You don't simply go like, whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. That doesn't work. You need to use some kind of intuition and reasoning to figure things out, right? Of course, Oikura doesn't buy this. Is this your attempt at gallantry? You already wasted that chance way back in middle school. Yeah, Araragi here, and you wasted your chance too. Immediately, Oikura goes to grab the glass and throw it at Araragi. Hanakawa's already grabbed everything off the table because she's sick. But why did Araragi say that? You wasted your chance at gallantry too? Is that in reference to the classroom, maybe? I don't get it. Yeah, I guess wasted your chance in that you wasted it to, like, tell Araragi what was going on, right? Because she kind of talks about it there, right? And yeah, kind of starting to blame the parents. We also get a casual, kind of confirmation of what that empty letter meant. It was what Araragi theorized, right? Wrong door from the old Monty Hall problem. Araragi takes some kind of interest in where the family is now, where are the parents, right? You care about my crumbling ruin of a family? Like, immediately hops to being sarcastic. So I'm going to say it like a million times. Coping mechanism, right? Like, I need to hate you, Araragi. You don't understand. Like, I need to. I need to bad. That's why she does it at every opportunity. Like, even in a almost hysterical kind of acting type of way, right? She's got to. It's all that she has, right? So we kind of get the in-between chapters of what went down, right? So Dad, who was the most abusive, but not the only abusive, he went away, right? Mum took custody of me, and we left this town. Dad's probably, hopefully, rotting in some kind of prison cell. Yeah, justifying Mum. My mum only hit me sometimes, so that makes her good, right? If I'm choosing between the two, then yeah, but it's still not great, right? Okay, so now I think I understand this a little bit more. I was getting a little bit mixed up on the timeline. So, in the same way that my mother never left our home after, like, I split from the dad, right? After me and Mum took custody of me, we went to a different house, she never left that room. That's when we jump into that stuff, and now in a similar way, I'm not leaving this apartment. Yeah. Cycle of abuse, anybody? So Mum clearly, like, not mentally in a good space, which is, again, pretty understandable because she was a victim of abuse as well. It got to the point where, so why was the, again, I'm not like a psychologist. I don't want to pretend to speak about this on any kind of level. But why did mum lock herself in the room, right? Why did she stop eating? Why did she do all this other stuff? It was probably some form of self-hatred for her own actions and what led to this point and blah, 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 blah. We can only theorize, right? I'm just saying maybe similar things are happening to Oikura at this point in the story too. And explicitly, like, Oikura wants to keep things in her apartment opposite to the way the mum had it, whilst simultaneously kind of doing the same thing by keeping kind of huddled inside and not going anywhere. She keeps her apartment very lit and very clean, where mum in her room, whatever room that may have been, was completely dark and very messy. So yeah, endless muttering from the mother about how parents can't choose their children. So like did she at some point try hating her own daughter as a coping mechanism? Again, I don't know shit. I don't know shit. Maybe we'll learn more later. So another equally depressing detail. She's like, lucky Japan's a wealthy country and can afford to let somebody just survive in such a situation. Maybe those welfare payments maybe potentially aren't enough. And then goes into this part. I never once hoped my mother would disappear, and continuing to wish that she wouldn't disappear later in this scene as well. Yeah, every night I prayed that I would never wish for my mother to disappear. I prayed that I would never wish for my mother to disappear. We'll repeat that a fair few times, and it becomes pretty tragic when she does end up disappearing. Kind of our lead in for what we have going on next is finding that mother, wherever she may be, in whatever state she may be in, at least confirming where she is and what has gone on. Clearly, like, Oikura pretends to not care, maybe potentially has some kind of want to know at least something about her. She kind of just went away. Kind of the editing technique of here interspliced with kind of just like the regular household things that she would be doing, right? Every single day, like regular household stuff, cooking, cleaning. I prayed that I would never wish for my mother to disappear. So again, emphasizing that every single moment this is what I'm thinking, and then the worst comes to pass. But yeah, against my wishes, my mother did disappear without saying anything, without leaving a message, without even sending an envelope, similar to how I left you, Araragi. At least I left something. She left me nothing. This is a weird line too. They say that the daughter normally takes after the father, but I suppose I'm taking after my mother. Well, I mean, the events of you leaving Araragi with nothing and the mother doing that are in opposite ends chronologically, but I see what you mean. Oyakura most likely smiled like her mother. Not really sure what that's about either. That's fucking tragic too. I made dinner and left it in the room. Still nothing. Nobody returned at any point. That's fucked up. Oyakura said so with her emotions crippled and with her heart sundered, that she doesn't know where any of her parents are right now. In the race for who has the most awful parents in the show, it seems like Oyakura has just like won. And I didn't even know that she existed. And yeah, like, again, I've talked about it a number of times. Like, a big linking thread between all of Monogatari is parents, is adults, is guardian figures, and how they influence what we have going on, and trying to come to terms with that, and kind of grow up, and coming of age story, and all these other themes that come through with that territory. And yeah, this is the darkest we've gone with it by far. So now we bring the story full circle. She found some kind of guardian figure to write some kind of name on some document to get her some kind of welfare housing. This was the only town that had it. I went to that same school that Araragi went to, and lo and behold, we're back at the situation where we were right back at the start. Araragi asking the question here, why do you live here? Why don't you live in that house that was clearly traumatic for you and you had a bad time in, that was filthy and disgusting and dark? Like think about it, Araragi, is my point. And again, this is where we go into why she keeps her apartment the way she keeps it. So no clutter, no furniture, keeps it squeaky clean. It's very well lit, it's colorful. It's giving me like doctor's office waiting room in its kind of clinical cleanness and the weird colors. Yeah, not a place of love. Again, similar to Hanakawa's house when we see it briefly in Nekoshiro. Just like almost like a designer home, like an open house, something like that, right? Like squeaky clean. Continuing to say like, I'm not special here. I'm not like singling myself out. It's not a tearjerker. It's none of that. This is normal. This is normal, right? Because at the moment she admits that this isn't normal, then fucking what might happen, you know? Yeah, and then the focus on Hanakawa here, right? Like, again, I'm really sensing like a connection between what Hanakawa had going on. Like, again, this constant like everything's okay, everything's fine, it's fine, it's fine, and what Oikura has going on in this particular conversation right now. Like when it clearly isn't fine, but what else do I have? Like again, just continuously trying to sweep it under the rug, whatever it may be, right? So thank you for coming here, Araragi. What you've said has already put my mind at ease. It's already the end of that story. It's fine. Now can you please leave? There's one thing I want from you. Please leave. But of course we don't end up doing that. There's also the little Owarimonogatari here, kind of that title drop, representing what one interpretation of Owarimonogatari may be. Like again, this kind of intonation in the voice, and this kind of face, right? Like, okay, I'm really forcing myself to be calm here. I'm really forcing the issue. Please go home. If she tells us to go home, then we have no choice but to go home. I think Araragi was turning to go home then, and then Hanakawa pipes up. So we go into one really kind of esoteric detail about the story that she was telling about her mother and that time in that house. You said you unlocked the door and your mother was gone. All the windows were boarded up because it was really dark, right? How the hell did she get out? And this kind of stuff is clearly more important for the next episode, where we're going to try to figure out some more stuff about the mother and what actually went on there. Another locked room mystery too, which is just been a little bit of a theme. Going back to the classroom at the start of Owarimonogatari as well. Again, like lots of little silly stuff about the locks and that kind of thing. I'm not sure I'm going to go into it here until it becomes more relevant. Also talking about the front door there as well, right? So if you didn't remember about it, it must have been locked as well. So what gives? I've got some theories. So what other characters in the story that we know about that would have some kind of interest in the mother? The father? That bodes really poorly, does it not? And this is kind of what I've talked about a lot already. Oikura's feelings upon seeing this happy family and this happy house and this house that wasn't destroyed and blah, 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 blah at such a young age. She didn't even fathom that such a thing could exist. And upon seeing it, she started to hate her own situation more and more. This was the catalyst for, well, the psychological wreck she is now, honestly. And yeah, that contributed to just the staring. The staring whenever she was there, like secretly boiling, potentially with envy. You would think with envy about this situation, right? Oh, wait, what do you mean? This is normal? What I have is not normal? There's a clear fear of like deviation from the average as well, like not being normal. She doesn't want to be considered a person worthy of pity, a person worthy of exception and that kind of thing. She just desperately wants that normal childhood life. I wish I'd never known. I'd wish I'd never met you, if I can speak. Yeah, upon seeing something that radiant, being blinded and needing to run away. So with this next frame as well, I never really stopped to try to think about what it meant. It just kind of scared me too much. It's obviously in reference to what I was just talking about before, kind of like the deviation from the norm. What I have currently isn't normal, so my human figure, my human form, is going to be disfigured in a similar way, right? Hence the different colors, hence the different proportions, hence why it looks so horrific. It, channels those same feelings that Oikura would be feeling about herself upon seeing how her normal life, or what she considered was her normal life, was nothing but. Just thought I would actually analyze it a little bit rather than just reacting to it as hard as I can. Oh, and then this frame. Oh, now I remember this. I'm gonna look over here. This is where my monitor with OBS is. It's bad. I don't want to look at it. It's terrifying, quite frankly. Which again fits with the territory, right? Kind of the fisheye in the background as well. The weird colors. She looks like a Simpson with the yellow skin. Something clearly wrong with like the liver process there. Anyway, I get to read the dialogue now, though. It was too late for me then. I tried to find odd ways to change my family. For being rebellious, they would beat me even more, but only where my clothes would hide it. That's, again, fucking terrible. But upon running back to my family, right, upon seeing this wonderful family and Araragi's family and running back, I couldn't escape again. And that's when I saw you in middle school, right? I thought it was a stroke of benevolent fate that, you saw me again, Potentially now you're in middle school. You'd have a better idea about what's going on and you could get me out, right? And now we're reframing a lot of, remember how Araragi thought about the Sodachi kind of puzzle and the riddle and that whole situation and going to her house? He thought really positively about that time. He thought that was a really formative experience for who he was and what he was about, and really helped him to look at things in a different manner before that all came crashing down again during the classroom stuff. But yeah, we're reframing that as, hey, this was all an act. I was trying to seduce you. I was trying to get you to realize. I was trying to make you understand, and you didn't. The rebound came again in high school, where I saw you again, but you forgot me, so it's not like it matters. I thought I'd even start over again when Tetsujo finally left for maternity leave reasons, but again, like, I couldn't make it work, right? You still didn't really remember what was going on and treat it with the severity it should be treated with. You clearly still didn't know what was going on, and secretly I probably still wanted to try to hate you, right? You so blissfully unaware of what I was going through, still reinforcing to me that same theme from back in the day that I'm not normal. I had to direct that hatred towards somewhere, and it still ended up being you. And that's why she was so pointedly angry during that scene. Yeah, again, great line, number of great lines this episode. You appear at the turning points in my life and sow the seeds of calamity. Yeah, and this is the moment, right? Araragi's like, is it my fault? Of course it's your fault. It's like, no, I know it's not your fault, right? Again, like the mix between the two voices. She's immediately like, it's almost a little bit Lord of the Ringsy, a little bit Golem-y, right? Kind of got two sides going on. Like, of course I hate you. No, it's not. It's not. I know it's not that, right? Secretly, I know it's not that. Secretly, I'm so hyper aware of how things are happening that it's scary. Another great line later on. Internalizing this parental hatred as well. If she'd had a different child, my life would have been better, right? Or life would have been better in general. Yeah, if my mother kept saying that to me, I'm sure I'd end up fine. I hate myself, I hate myself, I hate myself so much, but I have to blame you so I can live on Araragi. I'm honestly sorry, but you have to be my villain. Blaming the parents right now isn't enough to keep me intact. Why won't it work out? I'm living a good life, I'm really trying, I'm doing what I can. I've got psychological problems and I know it. Fuck. This episode might be really good. Yeah, I've kind of been umming and ahhing about it, kind of being like, yeah, I get it. It speaks to something so fucking real. She's such a good character from everything we've set up this episode, Oikura. Like, this is seriously good writing. And listen, again, I'm from a very happy family. I'm very well off, relatively, right? I'm not like a millionaire or anything, but like, I have no relation to Oikura. I can imagine this episode hitting way harder for people that have been in potentially worse situations than I've been in, which is, again, probably all too common, and I'm maybe in a little bit of an Araragi role and don't really understand what other kids go through all the time. Please tell me, Araragi, you're happy, right? If you think I made the slightest contribution to your happiness, please tell me. Now we're bringing into the context everything we've seen in the series for Araragi thus far. It kind of makes it pale in comparison, yeah? Araragi's a pretty tortured character, as we've been through, mostly in his own mind. Think about how he has progressed, though, from one point to another. The problems that he's faced don't even come close to what Oikura has faced, right? And Araragi's coming to that kind of realization now as well. It makes it seem like child's play, what he's had to go through. And then, yeah, Hanakawa, you can't be happy because you're not trying to be happy. On some level, she's right. But on another level, it's so damn condescending. Like, why didn't you just try to be happy? Like, it's pretty much the worst thing you could say to somebody in such a situation. It's kind of that same Oshino Meme logic, just switched around a little bit, right? People can only save themselves. You need to be willing and able to be saved to be saved. You're clearly not trying, but again, condescending. It's easier said than done. Maybe that's that line there where Hanakawa finally says, like, I only know what I know. I don't know everything, I only know what I know. Maybe this is something that she genuinely knows from the way that she approached Nekoshiro. But that arc is so far in the past that I can't even start to think about it, right? Was part of it that she wasn't willing and happy and able to be saved, to be happy? Again, it's been too long. I remember a lot of stuff around, like, being a people pleaser and a failure in the wild and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, please, I'm sure somebody could talk to that in greater detail. But yeah, Oikura here says that, hey, you're potentially right, Hanakawa. I'm so brittle that happiness would smash me. My eyes blinded, my body ripped. So, okay, this is where we're bringing in weight a little bit, right? Maybe secretly just as kind of fragile, metaphorically, that Senjugahara was at that point in her life as well. Again, Senjugahara had a pretty bad upbringing as well. I'm pretty sure Sadachi still takes the cake. I'm sure that is a part to the understanding here as well. There's also the idea of the radiance, looking at something too radiant, this really blown out frame with the light coming in, the afternoon sun probably from the window. I want to survive these days steeped in mild unhappiness. That's kind of, the status quo. I don't want to be happy anymore. I don't want to change, right? It's too late is another major theme. It's never too late. It's never too late for a start. But yeah, things are bad and they'll never get better, is what she's thinking right now. She needs a little bit of a pick-me-up. You overestimate happiness. Kind of Araragi jumping in here, right? It's never too late. You overestimate happiness. It's neither too heavy or too radiant like you're saying it is. There's a million ways for you to be happy. And yeah, this is kind of Araragi's selflessness coming through here, right? Don't hate the world, don't hate happiness, don't hate yourself. I'll gladly take all the hate you have. Hate me. Direct it all at me. Even more than you have up to this point, I'll gladly take it. You can hate yourself as much as you like, just love yourself as least as much, right? As I used to love you. I think I missed that as well, right? Kind of during the middle school stuff. Okay. Even if it was kind of like fake love, like seduction, even. I think Araragi at one point would like to like to think that he was less than the norm, right? He would like to think that his life is so bad and he's so gloomy and blah 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 blah, and he's got the worst upbringing and that kind of thing, right? The admittance here that what he has is pretty normal and pretty attainable is, I guess, encouraging for Oikura, to the point where Hanakawa says that it was well said. So, must have been somewhat poignant, sure. And then, yeah, this is where we're ending, right? So, the town hall people are coming soon, probably some kind of checkup to see how she's going. If she sees you two here arguing with me, potentially that'll have some bad ramifications. I need to probably clean up a little bit so they don't suspect as much. So, yeah, we're going to go home, but we're going to be back again tomorrow and the next day and even on weekends, just to help you out. Maybe you think we're pestering you, but pestering the people we like is what we do. Yeah, kind of is. Hanakawa kind of ending it by saying, I really like you as well. And then, okay, well, if you like me that much, please find my mother then. I'll come to school if you find my mother. I'll also apologize to Senjugahara-san. It'll make everything better. And that's where we are. Oikura closing her eyes, heading into the ED. We need to find her mother, apparently. However, we may do that, probably bringing in a lot of that locked room stuff. I've talked about this episode for like an hour. I didn't plan on it. It just all came tumbling out. Probably half of it's like verbal diarrhea. But yeah, that episode is incredibly good and sad, but really good. And with a ton of great lines and little details that just make it all the more tragic. Yeah, it's probably the most emotionally effective thing in Monogatari thus far. Yeah, a lot of the Hanakawa stuff was good, but this is like the Hanakawa stuff on steroids. It really is. With none of the like funny cat shenanigans to get you out of it either. There's just pain, non-stop pain. But yeah, next episode, I guess. We're going to keep the pain train rolling. Rightio, got episode 7 of Owarimonogatari up here ready to go. Let me pop that up on screen there. I should shut open board too. Hang on. There we go. That's better. What's the time code on this bad boy? 25 minutes and 43 seconds. And yeah, same picture and subs and stuff. Just going to give it a 3, 2, 1. Radio. 3, 2, 1. Go. Oikura's goal. What does she want to know? Okay. It's just straight into the mum stuff. These colors too. Different. Oh no. No! Why are you here? Kindly fuck off. Fuck off. Punch her in the back of the head. Fuck off. Oh no. Oh, look at all this math shit. Squeezing in between the two. Udders. Yep. That's what I would do. Yeah. Oh my god. Just like enter interpersonal space there. Yeah. Listen, we get it. Oh great, like the cutout. Okay. That's inhumanly possible, right? Yeah. Again, we're gonna look at this opening later on, so I'll talk now. Augie's a little shit, but we knew that. Like, clearly, still that same intonation, everything, like overly apologetic and manipulative, and like, hey, this is true, but despite that, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for thinking this. Um, Also, that inhuman knowledge of knowing everything that Araragi knows. Araragi just learned this information today about the mother. Augie was not present. There is no interconnecting scene where Augie could have learned this information. How does she know this? How does she know this? Yeah, but after going through, like, okay, Augie's role, I believe, is to try to emphasize Araragi's unhappiness. But after seeing somebody that genuinely has, like, the most unhappy situation ever, it makes whatever Augie's doing seems like child play and honestly kind of offensive, right? Okay, we'll explain. Okay, that's kind of funny. But also, get your weird sleeve hands off of her. The nose. Yeah, okay, great. Monogatari moment. Hanekawa's being very quiet here. Hanekawa should smack a bitch. Well, no, he's not going to say that. Huh. Again, selflessness. Aragi's probably going to do this, right? Bro, we need, like, Senjukahara to show up and punch her. Mm-hmm. Yes! A battle of wits? Let's go! Where's she going? What is happening? Wet hair. Oh. Oh, yeah, the dye. Of course. I don't get the hair thing, but sure. We did it. Question mark. Okay. Okay. We're gonna see. Well, I'm not, so. Yeah, eventually. Shut up. Huh. Well, yeah, there's a whole unreliable narrator aspect, maybe. What? Well, let me in. You're implying that she's an unreliable narrator. Okay. So he's got to try and figure it out. Despair. Zetsubo. Oh, that's terrible. Okay, yeah, I didn't think that was right either. Yeah. So just completely did not fathom an idea. No, I don't think that's it either. What is this? Kubikiri cycle? Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know. I'm just this dumbfounded. Yeah? Don't like where this is going. Huh? I got nothing. I mean, I kind of do, but I just need them to tell me. I was wondering if we were going to go through all that number of hints, but we kind of do, but not really. Yeah. Oh, okay, so then the body not being... okay. She decomposed. Yeah. That's fucked up. That's really fucked up. So how the fuck can we tell Oikura this? She'll, like, kill herself. Well, that's fucked up too. Yeah, so Oikura was at a point where, okay, like, secretly I maybe know, but I need to tell myself this, otherwise I'll go insane. Well, yeah, if you want to get tactical about it. Yeah, I agree. She will go insane. I don't think this can be fixed, guys. She's needs psychological help. You're insane. Oh, so you're like the conduit for the hate still? Okay. Yeah, in a very similar way that she pretends not to see things. Yeah, I just said that. This is fucking dark. Well, yeah, but kind of that's the point. Yeah. But I'm just worried that she can't take such information. Okay, kind of flipping that whole study thing. Yeah. Okay, see you later, you little rat. Oh. What do you mean by this? Why are they mowing the lawns? Sorry if that interrupts the recording. Okay, I mean, yeah, in the episode, this is where we are. Okay. But so how did it go? I can't believe they're fucking mowing the lawns. Did they remember? Huh, interesting. Even if I went today. That's fucked up too. No, you. Oh, fuck me. I. This is not happy at all. Yeah, but it's fake. Fuck. I thought she was moving away. Fuck off. Yeah, okay. I thought you'd maybe done away with her. But I was better than you thought. Okay, you're being very frank about this. Yeah, it's all very weird. Okay, so she did transfer. Fuck off with your casting shit. I don't live anywhere. Oh, this is literally. Oh, this is literally that day. That doesn't bode well at all. We're gonna have to pray because we're not gonna know. I don't feel a good vibe off of it at all. Like at all. – Look at this fork in the road. Yeah. Okay, so this is when she's doing that stuff. You're kind of looking for him in a way, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, hey, I gotta find... Augie's no good. The fuck? Who the hell wrote that? Yoko? Oh, that's nice. That is good. Oh, well, I wish the subs were better there. Oh. Okay. Under the desk, you reckon? She's being nice. Kind of. Yeah, it's probably full of something, right? This one's full. Yeah. Right door. Well, you know exactly who it's from. Yeah. I'm glad that you're taking a really positive look at all of this, but I don't feel it at all. I don't know. Well, tell me what it is. Oh, is it a... Okay. Fine. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is there was something in it. Send me multiple pages, though. I might need to edit the audio for this portion, which shits me to no end. I can't believe they're mowing the lawns during, like, the climactic scenes of one of the best episodes in the show. One of the most, like, fucked up episodes, too. Yeah, that was fucked up. But the fucking lawnmower miffed me. And this kind of sets up things to go from here with the Hanakawa stuff. So, like, Augie's trouble. Hanakawa knows Augie's trouble big time. You say you're related to Oshino Meme? We need to verify that. I'm going to try to look for Oshino. And that's why she was doing what she's doing at the point in the story that she's doing it later on when I think it's alluded to in Koi and a number of other places. But she takes a detour during that time to go see Kaiki as well. Oh god. I just thought something about the ED. What is that big figure in the distance that they're riding towards that looks like a woman? Yeah, like that might be like her mom. Right? That's fucked up. Okay, alright, whatever. We'll talk about this episode when old mate stopped mowing his lawn. Alright, and we're back. I've written a little bit of a summary. Let me get that up here. Of just the past two episodes and what happened, which is a bit of a nebulous thing with the two episodes, considering so much of it is backfill of story and that kind of thing, and so much of it is also emotional. So much of it is line delivery, so much of it is lines written out, writing, I guess you would say, where not a lot of it's plot movement. We don't really learn. No, we learn a lot. We don't really move places between places and events occur. We just learn past events. And it's weird to talk about, but you will see what I mean. So, episode 6 is mostly about clearing the air with Oikura and figuring out everything that led up to the current situation. Again, very broad. We've kind of already gone through episode 6 as well. Through the episode, we slowly start to understand Oikura's mindset and how tragic it really is. The episode ends on Araragi and Hanakawa pledging to see Oikura every day and figure out what happened with the mother. And in episode 7, we figure out what happened with the mother, which is pretty fucked up. There's a certain point in the reaction where I was like, are we really doing what we're doing here? Are we really doing what I think we're doing? And we were doing what I thought we were doing, for the record. I just didn't really want to say it. Because if I was wrong, I'd sound really stupid. Episode 7, either way, starts with Augie entering the picture. Immediately you see like the shadow rise up and it's like, oh fuck, here we go. Seemingly pretty pissed about being snubbed from the meeting by the whole Hanakawa situation that happened in episode 5. She inhumanly has all the information we gathered last episode and has already figured out the answer to the mother stuff. So my kind of theory there is, again, I know everything that you know, Araragi, I just learn it. I don't understand how it works, but that's how it works. After being challenged, Hanakawa figures it out too, kind of like washing the dye out of her hair and figuring out it being like a really bad conclusion of things. Either way, Araragi comes to the same conclusion eventually after being pushed in a pretty effective sequence where we go through a number of different clues. I wonder if the book actually goes into the full 30-odd clues that I think were there. Either way, that conclusion being that Oikura was taking care of her mother's corpse for 2 years. At a certain point, the mother probably just kept refusing food, died of starvation, depression, any number of other things, right? It's pretty fucking damn tragic. And Oikura, again, we talk about this theme of averting our eyes. She averted her eyes to the real situation, using the coping mechanisms in a similar way to what we were talking about last episode as well, to just never really tell herself that fact. And then when, the mother's corpse was no longer even there, when it had decomposed to a certain level where not even her coping mechanism could keep up, she got a new coping mechanism of thinking the mother just ran away. It definitely begs the question of, did somebody then, like some forensic team, then look through the house and be like, what the hell happened here? But anyway, that's less important to the emotional stakes of what we have going on. So this is where I go into my theory crafting stuff a little bit more, and we'll talk about why the episode makes sense and why I probably didn't give it as much credit in the moment. And now I've had a bit to eat, sat down, written this, had a relook through the episode already, and have a little bit more of a thought for what they're going for, and I think they execute on it very, very, very well. So part of Augi's plan here is to force Araragi into some kind of despair, but instead, surprising everybody and breaking the cycle of the past couple of arcs, Araragi goes against Augi's expectation and tells Oikura the truth. We're going to explicitly compare this to Sodachi Riddle and Augi Formula, which were the past 2 arcs, where at the end of those 2 arcs, Araragi's like, fuck, I feel terrible, right, about remembering this and figuring out the mystery here, and it's a pretty terrible situation, and once I get wind of all of it and get it all together, I feel bad, and that draws me further towards Augie, further away from my group, cuts me off even more, brings me to despair. Augie likes making Araragi feel bad. That's where I think we're going with this. And, rule of threes, we're expecting the third of such arcs to end in a similar way. Araragi, again, surprising everybody, does the opposite here and vows to immediately tell Oikura this horrible news. Imagine telling somebody that's psychologically unstable that your mother has been dead for years and you are also taking care of her corpse. In the moment I'm like, don't tell her that. That's a terrible idea. And for the record, probably in real life it is, but I then see this as maybe a sort of test by Oikura as well, right? At least subconsciously. So she's like, okay, Araragi, you say you're going to help me, you say you want to help me, you say that happiness can be attained and all these other things you said in the end of that last episode. Prove it. Prove that you've changed. Prove that you're no longer the little boy that averts his eyes, that forgets things, that chooses to look away, the same way that I chose to look away from the situation, and say it to me. Say it to my face what is an example of what has been done in the past, if that makes any sense. That's why I think Oikura reacts kind of underwhelmingly, because I think she probably kind of knows the whole time, right? She tells Araragi as well that she, the town hall people that came down, her welfare is being cut even more, needs to move as a result to an even smaller place, which is not good at all. However, we live on fairly happy terms, which, like, from the outside looking in, not looking at any of the actual meaning of what's going on, it's a terrible ending. There's no catharsis to it. There's no light at the end of the tunnel. I don't know if Oikura is even going to be in the show anymore. But seemingly we're leaving on happy terms. This is represented by the envelope TM. Again, it doesn't matter what's in the envelope. We emphasize that. We emphasize that in the end of the episode itself, where we don't get to know what's in it. What matters is there is something in it. It isn't the wrong door. It was finally the right door. Again, rectifying this thing that Araragi did do during middle school, right? Where he didn't understand. He chose to look away. He chose to almost like cut certain things out of his memory, the same way Oyakura does, to protect some semblance of normalcy and not face that side of it, right? So again, reiterating, it doesn't matter what's in the envelope, it matters that the envelope has contents. It doesn't matter what's written on the paper, there is paper, and that's why it has meaning compared to last time. In the same vein, Oyakura has also apologized to Senjogahara, like she said she would, so we get those text exchanges there that I'll need to have a little reread of. And this is probably our biggest lead-in to future stuff. Hanakawa, we learned that she's traveling around. We knew that she was looking for Oshino. Now we get an express purpose. Hey, I'm looking to Oshino to get some confirmation about this Orgi stuff and look into that a little bit more. I think Hanakawa deeply understands how fucked up Orgi is, how fucked up the Orgi situation is, how deeply wrong it feels, how targeted she is at Araragi, and, wants to look into that and find a solution that is going to satisfy some parties. So that's about that's our state of play. As the lawn people start up once again, which was very frustrating during the episode. So I've checked the audio. You can't really hear it. I'll check again later on when I edit. But yeah, it distracted me in the moment, and that's probably even more important. I like to stay zoned in on the episode and not let any outside stuff influence it. But either way, I'll get the episode up here. I don't know how much I'll have to talk about the beginning portions, maybe some editing stuff around Orgi, but towards the end when we're back with Oyakura, I'll probably have a little bit more to say. So the episode starts with Oyakura's goal. What does she want to know? I think, again, it's more of a test, and that's what that kind of text is alluding to at the start of the episode. We see these kind of townhouses here in a very colourful light, which is a bit different from how they were looking in, perhaps talking to a better, I guess, feeling, better motivation, better perspective on things as we exit compared to how we entered. And Hanako is like, hey, we need to focus on the locked room aspect of the mystery to figure out what's going on with the mother. That's before Orgi interferes. We hear her voice come through. We're like, oh shit, here we go. I probably won't talk about a lot of this much in the moment. It's more like she's using that kind of manipulator language, like casually confirming things, casually like disparaging other things, and kind of encroaching into Araragi's personal space. If I was Hanakawa here, I'd go the Senjogahara route and just punch her in the head, because she continually disses Hanakawa. I think, in turn, how Hanakawa sees Orgi as a threat, Orgi also sees Hanakawa as somebody that's actually fairly smart and could probably figure out what's going on here. I've also theorized that potentially part of Orgi's plan is that she thought Hanakawa would do this, would go away and try to find Oshino Meme, and that further isolates Araragi, right? Which is part of her plan. She wants to isolate Araragi, make him feel bad for reasons, whatever those reasons may be. Much to Orgi's, I guess, theming as well, we see a lot of math shit, as I said in the moment. Lots of pie graph stuff, lots of triangles. It looks like an equation where we're sitting right here and now. It looks like a university math question almost, like figure out the the kind of area of these two shapes. Of course, sitting right between the two, like it's a pretty obvious one, but it's there, trying to tempt Araragi with her udders. Which is definitely not a sentence I want to say twice. Yeah, just continuing to allude to like the fool like status of these two, as it pertains to Augie, who already knows everything apparently. Like working both parties here, working Hanakawa, working Araragi, knowing their motivations, knowing their inherent biases towards each other, and using it to her advantage. Like they're both so hopelessly selfless that like the way to get to either of them is to focus on the other one, if that makes any sense. Like, again, crawling into personal space. I don't need to focus on it too much, even though my camera's hiding it somewhat. Yeah, look at that. Told you. I liked this particular part here where Augie's kind of in a Hanakawa cutout as well. And just as, Araragi's about to speak up about Augie and tell her to frig off, basically, for talking shit about Hanakawa, she comes through with the trump card. I already know what happened with the mother. I also subsequently know the situation with the mother and everything that happened in the conversation you two just had, to an inhuman level. Oh yeah, and then I promised we'd have another look at this opening, right? Okay, so lamp, light, right? We've talked about darkness a lot in the arc, the mother being in the darkness. She's definitely heading towards some kind of light, for sure. What lies ahead when everything is lost? I should have let it all go ages ago. What lies ahead? Light as radiance as well. Happiness and radiance we're putting together, which is pretty obvious stuff, like moving from darkness into light, moving from sad to happy, or at least trying to. I should have let it all go ages ago, but I kept pushing my expectations onto you. I should have let it go ages ago, but I kept pushing my expectations onto you. So I should have let it go ages ago, to me talks about like the stuff when she was very young at the Araragi house, right? I should have let go, like, I guess a little bit of that feeling of envy, intense envy, and there's a lot more going on there, but of this happier life, of this radiant, happy family. However, I kept pushing my expectations onto you for you to understand things, or even for me to hate you, right? Like, I kept doing that to you, Araragi. I guess that's my read right now. I kept diving into the sea of possibilities in search of the slimmest chances. Okay, so I kept like lying to myself, yeah? I kept averting my eyes, diving into the sea of possibilities. There could be anything that's happening with even the mother, use the mother as an example, but happens many times in her story, in search of the slimmest chances that things weren't as fucked as they were. It's also, in the previous episode as well, she was very much like, no, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, even when it wasn't fine. So maybe that's the similar feeling there with the in search of the slimmest chances. Like a deep, like, I guess, fear of being not normal, which I've talked about before. I guess visually we have this Oikura from the past meeting this other one without color. So this Oikura proceeds to pull her hair out and a little bit of blood fall to the floor. I still don't really understand that part of it, but it seems you'll realize, or it seems you'll never realize, what exactly it is I'm made of. As again, these two link and join and cry. Like again, I'm seeing like the lies I tell myself and the truth coming together there and resulting in a bittersweet happiness, which is, again, the arc of the episode. I leave myself in your hands, smiling innocently. I guess still relying on Araragi as that person to hate. Again, we have the kind of darkness into light, fire, kind of cold into warmth, which I've talked about before. Just again reinforcing. I don't really know the way she's looking, right? Moving from her state right now into a potentially happier future. For this unknown future is just the beginning. I see. Okay. All right. I mean, that's relatively hopeful, right? We will definitely solve the equation which defines us. What equation is that? I still don't understand. Is that just the I'm going to keep hating you, Araragi as a coping mechanism stuff? Specifically, somebody said, think about who the opening is aimed at. And again, I'm still just leaning towards Araragi. I don't really see how it can be somebody else. But again, I've been wrong before like that. Just because she doesn't really have a strong relationship with anybody else that exists, and I don't really see how it could be towards any of the parents. No matter how many mistakes we make, we'll solve the equation that defines us. Okay. Is she writing it to herself? Okay, let me reread the lyrics with that in mind, maybe. I should have let it all go ages ago, but I kept pushing my expectations onto you. Okay, I kind of understand that a little bit more. Like, I kept searching for the slimmest possibilities, but you'll never realize exactly what it is I'm made of. These two sides to Oikura, the one that's potentially living this oblivious life where she thinks she's normal and happy and blah, 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 and lies about a bunch of shit to herself, and the one that's actually like no longer averting the gaze. That's why we see them like together. I guess here, bittersweet kind of happiness feelings, right? Like I was lost in the cold, you brought me towards the light and the warmth. Yeah, for this unknown future is just the beginning. Okay, so that's another interpretation for it for sure. That she's talking to herself. Ending on what is a pretty cold backdrop, right? But there's some internal hope, warmth in the middle. To me, it was an exceedingly simple exercise, I think Augie says there. Maybe talks about her own nature, that she's that inhuman that she could come up with something like that. Says some pretty funny stuff, just like Augie mad that Hanako has big boobies and wants her to apologize for it. This is a very interesting frame, though, for sure. So yeah, Araragi, the selfless, coming out here, doesn't want, I guess, Hanakawa to see those embarrassing things, and instead will ask Augie directly for what happened. Through this whole scene, just poking at Hanakawa, seeing if she'll flinch and say something. Eventually, she does end up speaking out and, I guess, putting Augie in her place somewhat. Again, putting Araragi in a bind. He's obviously not going to want to say something like this, so disparaging Hanakawa. If we go, again, all the way back to Kizu, he doesn't want to do anything of this sort. You can track it, basically through the entire show. And I like this from both characters. So Araragi, obviously selfless enough and wanting this information enough to make Oyakura happy, which is one of his major goals here, that he's willing to say something like this, even if he doesn't internally believe it. But Hanakawa, likewise, doesn't want to hear something like this, even if it's just said for the betterment of the situation, and he doesn't really mean it. She's going to put herself to the test. Again, I don't talk about it enough, I really don't, but this, just like the constant cuts and the really interesting shots and the character placement and everything else, just again, if for some reason you've gotten this far and you're bored by the dialogue, at least it's interesting visually. That person which I just described doesn't exist, by the way. Like, how could you think this is boring? How? Yeah, even if you'd lie or do it for my sake, Araragi-kun, I don't want to hear you say that. Says Hanakawa, she's going to step in and try to solve the mystery. I won't say what she wants either, I'll steal him away from you anytime. Is she based? I think she is. So Hanakawa continues to just be fucking awesome. There's this explicit thing, at least this part of the episode, not showing her eyes. I would imagine that she's a lot more angry than we think, right, at this. So again, Hanakawa has 10 seconds. I don't really understand what this is about. So she, for some reason, needs to wash the dye out of her hair. Hiding the thing that she's had since August, right? The streaks. She's obviously been dyeing her hair for school, and she needs to wash out that dye, which probably she does every day, right? I think that was the illusion before. I don't understand how this leads to her thinking better, right? There's definitely something metaphorically going on between washing the hair and figuring it out. Okay, let's think about it this way. Hanakawa, from a broken family of some kind, right, puts on a front, being the dyed hair, right, the kind of streaks in that being symbolic of accepting both sides of herself, right, into one. And only at that point can she consider something that dark happening to somebody. Again, that's just me absolutely throwing darts. I've got no idea. I do like the water effect, and the hair there looks kind of cool too. Again, Monogatari's always had good looking water. So yeah, leaving herself with about 3 seconds just to think, as seen by the text on screen, of course. So yeah, now we can watch this part of the episode with the knowledge of what the spoiler in question actually is. So Hanakawa immediately questions, "This was your first idea, Augie? You're fucked up. That's stupid. No human would do that." And yeah, now that we know it's a decomposing corpse that Oyakura's lying to herself about, then yeah, it makes a lot more sense. Again, Augie has the clap back of, "Hey, Hanakawa, you eventually came to that same conclusion, right? So maybe you're just as fucked up as me." Augie's like the Joker, put some, You know, why so serious type shit on her face. Wait, hang on. You get the red out. Yeah. Yeah, want to know how I got these scars? That's Orgy type beat. Yeah. Look, she's the Joker. We have fun here. Anyway, now on to like the most depressing thing I've ever heard. And again, like, okay, you talk about sane humans. There's only one insane human in this story, and it's Oikura. She's the one without a shred of sanity in her, which is, again, true. But again, I'm theorizing that she's kind of half telling the truth, half lying there. I think, okay, what's Orgi's end game here? Orgi wanted to tell Araragi or Araragi to figure it out on his own terms and then become so depressed at the news that he averted his eyes even more to the sad reality of what's going on. Hanakawa is also probably aware that of the effect that this potentially has on Araragi and what it may do for his mental. Again, Orgi looking to bring Araragi down even further than she already has. I think, again, unless this is one more step in a master plan, I think Araragi's done the right thing in the conclusion of this episode. Yeah, even Hanakawa, like, we can't tell Oyakura. And I agreed with Hanakawa initially. So again, talking about Araragi as the fool, let him think for himself, let him try to figure it out. We'll get him a number of clues before he stops averting his eyes and figures it out. Again, he probably has some... Araragi's not dumb. He probably has some inkling right even now, right? This guy, not dumb. But again, it's more about this purposeful forgetting, this purposeful of like not looking at it that we're trying to look at for Orgi and Araragi internally. And yeah, we talk about it a lot, right? Like the truth that'll make you sick the moment you hear about it, right? That'll lead you into despair. This is a pretty good first hint from Orgi. Oyakura Senpai's mother is already dead. And I think they do a really good job of, like, a few of the later clues just really give it away. Early on, like, this was one of my initial theories, foolish theories, in the episode itself, which was Oyakura's father got involved again and unlocked the door and then either took her away or did worse and then killed her, right? At least never to be seen by Oyakura ever again. And they immediately call me a fool for thinking that. Of course, it's way more psychological and it's way worse. Yeah, calling my theory lame. Come on, man. It wasn't that lame. This is a great clue again from Hanakawa. Just like how you mistook Oyakura-san's home for a ruin, Oyakura-san was also mistaken about her mother. Okay. So, again, we're directly relating Araragi's aversion of his eyes to Oyakura's aversion of her eyes. This also implies that maybe Araragi at some level during middle school knew how fucked up the situation was, but chose not to look at it, chose to forget it purposefully. Again, maybe even as a child, right? When Oyakura went to the house, right, and sat in the corner and just looked around. Of course, on some level, maybe even a child would know at that point something's not right. But again, that sucks to think about. I don't want to think about it. I'm just going to not think about it. That's probably not healthy. And we're trying to point that behavior out here for Araragi. This one's kind of true. Oyakura's mother was killed by Oyakura, but she doesn't remember it. No, I guess the mother killed herself by starving herself, I guess. This is another... Again, they're all really good clues now. Again, I probably got it by the last couple of clues, right? And then I just didn't want to say it because it would sound stupid if I was wrong. And I don't want to sound stupid. I'd never do that on this channel. But, like, you don't need to leave a room to disappear from it. Did she decompose? Yes. Oh yeah, this clue too. Oikura-san's last home was too big to clean for her and it turned into a big mess. So, again, there's justifiable stuff here for... like, for her brain to trick itself into thinking that the mother isn't dead, isn't a corpse just, like, laying down there. Again, now that I think about it, right, the mother probably won custody. She got everything that was in that giant mansion and then went to a smaller house, and then it was really cluttered. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, I like this here too. So Oikura-senpai cooked her for her mother, but her mother stopped eating completely. We see this meal here, like, slowly degrade, like it's getting moldy, like it's, like, perishing. Again, sad as fuck, but it's a pretty cool little transition there. So yeah, at this point we're getting battered in the face with it, right? It's like she didn't leave that corner, she stopped eating completely, she didn't respond to questions, At what point does a corpse become a corpse? Is that still life? No, it's not, because she's dead. These clues are really good, huh? Like the middle school one. How did a middle schooler take care of a reclusive parent? She couldn't have. How long could a corpse be identified as such? Until it decomposes, and then you need to stop your little cope show. And at this point, we just say the numbers for the clues, and we lead to a different conclusion. But again, edited fantastically. The music like really ups the tension as well. It feels pretty epic. As epic as finding out such a thing can be. I also love the voice acting on this line from Araragi, right? Just finally, like, stopped averting his eyes. His eyes were closed, eyes open. Oikura looked after a corpse for almost 2 years, right? Yeah. One of the major themes that we have going on for sure, displayed there. He finally chose to look at it. And then, yeah, we talk about it here. I overlooked the truth during the class trial. I overlooked the truth during this point 5 years ago. Even now, I can't remember what happened even before that when we were children in the house. So I cannot run away here. Bro, these episodes make way more sense once you rewatch them. Like, yeah, I must confront it. I must look it in the eye. Hey, I'm on the right track. That's fucking awesome. Oh, remember that part in the last episode where she's like, I wished that my mother wouldn't leave me. I wish that my mother wouldn't leave me. Or I prayed that I wished that that part where she repeated that and was continually cooking food. That's fucking tragic now. Holy shit. Oh, shit. Ah! That's fucked up. Yo, this show's good. I don't really get this part about Oikura Senpai's mother boiling without assistance. Kind of, again, talking to how her body's decomposing, right? So yeah, I still have questions about the legal logistics of it. Like, people don't just find a bunch of bones or something, right? Whatever is left after somebody decomposes, and then just forget about it and throw it out. I don't really understand that. But sure, like, metaphorically, it makes more sense. So fuck the real world, we don't care about that. Focus on the actual feelings of the scene. The other question, logistically, would be the stench, but I'm guessing that she just told herself a little lie about it. And again, another Monogatari semantics thing, IMO. Did she commit suicide by starvation? Well, not really. She just lost the will to live. She didn't choose to die, she lost the will to live. Which again feels like a logic puzzle, which is very Augie. Again, I agreed with Hanakawa here. Probably a very charitable take. Probably don't tell Oikura this. Oh, and then this is tragic too. So she sees that door shut, right? That's probably the town hall people. Like, kind of grabbing that arm, going and sitting all alone. The dialogue here about, just knowing that something's off, that she's pretending not to understand something. Yeah, this is pretty emotional. I feel bad again, and I'm bringing up something from a previous reaction. Like, this is genuinely fantastically executed emotional storytelling that should elicit a stronger emotional result from me. I.e., react harder, but I just find it hard to do so in this setting. I really do. So I feel terrible right now. I feel terrible for Oikura. I feel really hopeful for how we're looking in the future with Oikura, but for right now, she's in a fucking dark place, like really dark. And I don't know if I've gotten that across well enough, how much this is affecting me. So, I don't know. It's just a weird one with a video such as this. Yeah, but unexpected to everybody else. I think at the end of Augie's little speech there, which is like, she'll feel this way till the end of days. Didn't expect Araragi to pipe up here and say, I'll end it today, thinking that he would continue to avert his eyes. This reminds me of... This is a weird pull as well. It reminds me of Mayoi Snail. This reminds me, like, even shot construction-wise, like the shot where he's like, no, we're fixing this right now. We're fixing this Mayoi shit right now. And that was the moment that Senjugahara was like, oh shit, I like this guy. To me, this is the pure Araragi. This is what he should strive to be in all opportunities, what he hasn't been up to this point. This is a hugely important moment for his character. Kind of like bringing up something from his past, something very important, and putting it to the test and seeing if his newfound philosophies from the character building in the past year actually apply. If he's actually taken lessons learned from all these experiences, and yes, he has, which feels good. We see as much in the whole letter situation with Oikura later on. He clearly has progressed, which is good. Again, they make it pretty obvious here as well. I pretended not to see Oikura for like 6 years now, just like she was oblivious to her mother's death, so now I'm not going to leave her alone anymore. I'm going to tell her the truth, no matter how painful it is for me and her. I see this as Augie's last attempt to get him to stop as well. You don't know what will happen, Araragi. Oikura-senpai might start to hate you even more after this. just based on the previous conversation in the episode, he doesn't care about this anymore. He'll take all the hatred that she can give him if she starts to love herself as a result. This little bit of dialogue as well. I'll teach her how to be happy, kind of, right? Like, if my student is the amazing Oikura, I'm sure that she'll surpass me in this endeavor in no time, right? Speaking to the fact that maybe he's had to teach himself happiness a little bit along the journey. Yeah, and kind of reframing the study sessions that we've done in the past about studying to be better people, happier people, even though it's not a competition, the same way that a test would be graded. We will still pursue it with the same verve and endeavor and effort and all these other things, right? I do like kind of the sunsetty afternoon aesthetic we have for it as well, kind of bringing a sunset to this whole 3 arc as well as a result, as well as sunsetting like a lot of stuff. Araragi's a version of his eyes, Oyakura's a version of her eyes. Yeah, lots of stuff. We also see this face from Augie. Where is it? Here. What is this? What is this telling me? You know, will you repay debt with further injury? Kind of bringing up that crane thing again, right? Where she tries to repay debt with further favors, he repays it with more injury. I'm glad I have something to repay her with, even if it will hurt her. So another philosophy on kind of repaying debts, as per Augie earlier, if that makes any sense. And yeah, a little bit fourth wally. Now for the epilogue, or rather the outcome. It's not as happy. It's not as flagrantly happy as the epilogues have been in the past. This kind of the sisters waking him up thing we see a lot is being framed very negatively. Like there's no happy music, there's no happiness to any of this, right? This is another great detail. The sisters, much like they're following Araragi's arc with the whole justice thing, they're doing the justice thing, right? They're also following his a version of their eyes as well, or maybe they were just too young to remember, but they don't remember seeing Oikura there either. So potentially they have the same lessons to learn as they grow up further on as well, which has been a lot of the theming around the sisters and Araragi. I like Tsukihi's hair here too. I don't normally compliment stuff like that, but it looks good. Maybe it's just because it's Hanakawa's haircut. Am I that simped for Hanakawa? Am I whipped? Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me. Oh, and then, yeah, so again, it's a very tragic and not very close loopy end to the story. The welfare people told me that my welfare is being cut in half. I'll need to move again to an even smaller place. There's some implications here as well, is that this is the normal Oyakura and that a lot of it, the hatred and the arguing is performative. When they're actually one-on-one, she's very similar to how she was during those study sessions. So the other thing contributing to my theory about Oyakura having some kind of inkling of what was going on already is that when she's told, she has a little bit limited reaction. Yeah, I had a hunch, I guess, right? So she may have also had some kind of inkling that she would need to leave town as well. So she went back to school, potentially hoping that something would change, and lo and behold, it actually did. Something did change. And so today I am unafraid of seeing Oyakura in class as I go to school. This line is weird to me because you know that she's transferring and wouldn't be at school? Question mark? Or maybe you'd just like run into her on her last day. This is another weird part, like apparently Hanakawa and Augie were supposed to stay behind, but they didn't because Hanakawa's like, Araragi needs some space. She was probably right about that. Augie says that she lost yesterday, that she apologizes, and frankly that she underestimated Araragi. All of these things are true. Why are you saying them like this? How do you know that? How do you know this information? It's almost like she's looking at herself very objectively as well. Like I would look at her. That's a very interesting line. I thought Augie would be like all sour grapes about it because her plan didn't work and her favorite toy rebelled, but no, she seems pretty calm about it. Again, Araragi lampshades how weird it is, the timing for everything, and Augie's just like, oh. The music here is great too, by the way. Kind of this really somber track, I guess you would say. It's kind of mournful. Yeah, I don't know any other words for it besides sad. Yeah, thanks to you, Araragi, she'll move on to greener pastures around people that she doesn't know. Is that a sneak diss? Augie-chan, what are you doing here? Do you live around here? Again, talking about a home for Augie, which is something that I think we'll get into whenever we do a little bit more of a deep dive on Augie, maybe. It seemingly keeps coming up. I'm looking for a girl who's lost. Now, originally in the reaction, I'm like, okay, does this link into the Nadeko stuff because she's on a bike? But a girl who's lost would involve the character, Hachikuji. That is, in the end, how it all begins. Huh? Okay, somebody needs to clue me in here. Because, like, the first arc we heard about Orgi was the kind of the Hachikuji arc. That wasn't really the Hachikuji arc. Mayoi Jianshi? Yeah, he just question marked that. Yeah, somebody could probably talk more about that. Yeah, this was just like a training run, she says. How would you treat your long-lost childhood friend? I accomplished my goal of finding that out. Losing is perfect as far as balance is concerned. How is Araragi not, like, question marking all of that, too? That's the most villainous shit I've ever heard in my life. But yeah, it implies... It's basically like, I'll get you next time, Araragi, but in a very calm way. So, like, Orgi's reloading for something else potentially even bigger than this that'll come up eventually. I mean, if it hasn't already, like, what else was Suki Monogatari if not that, right? The future is shrouded in darkness even when the sun is up. Like, good characters just don't say stuff like that, Araragi. Come on, man. I really like this shot of Hanakawa. Like, she learns of Oikura kind of transferring away, has this kind of wistful smile a little bit, thinking of what could have been. I actually really liked her. I thought that we hit it off. So yeah, because this show's good, I just keep finding more and more things to say about it. There's been many times during editing this portion of the video where I wanted to stop and make comments like this, but I've come to the realization that a large part of Hanakawa's arc was all about averting her eyes as well, back in Neko Shiro, and even before that as well, averting her eyes to the true, I guess, depression and sadness of her own existence and her family situation and everything else. There's a ton of stuff in Neko Shiro that adds value to this, and I would love a YouTube comment to dive into it and for me to talk about it in greater detail next week, because I think it's a crucial detail of why Hanakawa is here, and it's genuinely additive to the arc and its emotional stuff, and I don't think I gave it enough credit. But yeah, this arc's really good, guys. I don't know if you know. Let's pray that she finds happiness in her new life as the frame's really blown out and radiant. It's probably something in that, right? And yeah, this is where we get the concrete stuff about, hey, why is Hanakawa traveling around and doing that shit? She's going to hand in a temporary absence. It's going to go away for about a month and look some things up. I would need to get my timeline out, but I think she's been at this for more than a month, right? She's kind of extended her holiday around gallivanting the countryside. Again, is this part of Orgi's plan? Question mark? Because it isolates him and lets Orgi have his way with him, with like the one person that would stand in the way not there. I don't know, something in that, maybe. Again, Hanakawa has the thing about travel. We've talked about that before. So this is kind of a trial run, but actually the purpose, I think, is to find Oshino and then talk to him about the Orgi situation. I'd love to get some insight from people that watch Monogatari in a different order, right? Because I've heard some rumblings of people that do like a pure chronological order, or people that do like a little bit more of a weirder order than even we do. So I'm just wondering what the take is there and what the takeaways from all this stuff is. Yeah, that's one of my main goals, to tell him about the niece and probably verify if she actually is. So he sits down in class all alone, probably not all alone, but you know what I mean. Gets a mail to Koyo, which is Senjugahara speak for Koyomi, you would think. Totally broke finger. Going to hospital before school today. So when she punched Sodachi, she broke her finger. That's kind of funny. Interesting anecdote about myself. I actually broke my finger punching my brother. I was like 12. It was fine. But yeah, this definitely happens, especially when you don't have very good punching technique. And then this time, calling him Yoko, kind of the reverse of Koyo. Oikura came to apologize this morning, forgave her. I'm fine. When she says it like that, it doesn't seem like she's serious. Oh yeah, but I have a broken finger. That's probably why. It seems like she's fishing for a little bit of attention, maybe. That's kind of funny. But yeah, Oikura kept her promise, which is nice. So yeah, promise to come back to school So she can't do that part of the promise because of the welfare stuff. But she can at least forgive Senjugahara when Araragi figured out the mother stuff. But again, like figuring out the mother stuff is an inherent test to see if Araragi has improved and if he's no longer averting his eyes. That's why the envelope is the envelope at the end of the episode, right? It's a marked tick of approval from Oyakura. Koyo Koyo, I'm sorry you're worried. I'll give you lots of deep kisses on our next date, okay? 3 stars, too. She's gone crazy. Deeply addicted to your kiss. She's down horrendously bad for this dork. What the hell? Yeah, don't show Hanakawa that one. That'll be bad. Message from Oyakura says under the desk, cheers, your better half. So yeah, he didn't find that same envelope as he did 5 years ago when he was averting his eyes, when he didn't see what was really going on and didn't report it to his parents, where Oyakura looked at him as some kind of fucking abomination for not doing that. Again, also as a coping mechanism. Now, instead, later on, he sees a envelope taped under his desk and it's full. It's full of something. We don't know what it is, but he was the right door. He was the right door all along. And again, as I've said before, it doesn't matter what's in the letter, right? That it doesn't matter for our intents and purposes. Let's say it's too personal for even Araragi to want to share. What matters is that it's full. What matters is that he's different. He has changed. He no longer averted the eyes. I like that he thinks that it's like maybe strings of abuse as well, that she's still using him as kind of a focus for her hatred, right? What do I think was written there? Yeah, let's say that, right? Cool, then we see the ED. Okay, let's talk about this ED as well. Why are we in like a dark room that has like a bunch of clutter and there's one light that's maybe a bit too like radiant and stuff going on, huh? Again, like Augie in the background, Augie representing like the shadow there. Like the start here, right? This is what this represents. Augie leading her little dance, right? Araragi feeling bad as a result. There's desks, there's the classroom, right? Again, using darkness as a theme again, with these like one red spots every now and again, just figuring stuff out. Train tunnel, I'm not really sure about, but what I am sure about is Hanakawa jumping in the way and pushing Augie away, protecting him, and letting him have some space with Oyakura. Like, okay. Now we need to talk about this. What is this in the background that's potentially being constructed or potentially deconstructing? Is it a representation of her mother? If so, that's really, really, really sad. Really, 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 really sad. Yeah, look, it's falling apart. Hey, yo! That's sad as fuck. But yeah, there may be a bit of a hopeful future with what we have ahead, moving off on our own journey into the light. Sure, let's say that. So yeah, really effective ED as well. To finish, I've been talking for way too long again. So all in all, what did I think? This was peak again. So combined with the last episode that was also peak, this is probably the best arc. You'd think, right? Again, I have my own personal rankings and stuff, but like, it's really good. I can hardly fault it. Just for how strong it is for Araragi, how strong it is for Oyakura, the similarities between those two characters. It has a starring Hanakawa role. She was on fire this arc. Augie's still a little gremlin, but we love her. No, we don't. Why did I say that? Maybe I'm under her spell as well. Yeah, this was really good. And I've probably talked about it for way too long already, so I'm going to leave it at that. Don't be surprised if we get to the end and I'm like, hey, this arc, Sodachi lost, the best one. So yeah, sure stuff to finish this off here. I actually hit 500 subscribers whilst recording, so I just checked earlier, so thank you. Thank you, everybody, unless somebody unsubscribes, which would be kind of sad. But either way, if you like the video, consider liking the video. If you like the video and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. Comment below anything you thought about the episode, anything I could do to improve my presentation, comment below. I'm doing follow for follow on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter if you would like me to follow you back, and the Discord, join Discord, love Discord, Discord, and of course, Discord. So yeah, I'll be back next week, probably with the one episode, unless somebody says something else, I don't know. And yeah, I'll see you again then soon. Later. Thanks for watching.